Alright guys, it's Robert and you're watching Sidestep Adventures. I'm out here with Brian and Cody, and we stopped at this beautiful old church with a very old cemetery out behind it, with some much newer graves out here also. And I wanted to film it. I've passed by this place multiple times and finally decided to stop today. So we're going to take a look at some of the older graves out here. And some of the more forgotten ones that are in the back part of the cemetery for the usual Sidestep Adventures cemetery videos.
Plenty of unmarked ones.
As Brian just pointed out, there are plenty of unmarked ones out here. You can see the faint remains of a stone wall that would have come around there, and several fieldstone headstones, and it continues down. I wanted to take a look at this large monument before we went down and looked closer at the other graves down there. Right here, before we get to that, is a Confederate marker. So we'll take a look at that real quick. Get some light on it. It's Thomas D. Hall, Company K, 27th Georgia Infantry, Confederate States of America. There's no dates on it. These graves are from 97, 77, the 80s, and 60s. Those two are from the 40s. Now there's a veteran, World War I Army veteran right here. We'll take a look at this. This is Finley Green, born August 3rd, 1850, died May 22nd, 1899.
Green.
And on the back it says, "A light from our household is gone. A voice we loved is stilled. A place is vacant in our hearts that never can be filled." There's nothing on these sides. And something else that I've started looking for is a marker of who made the monument. Doesn't seem to be one on here. I've seen it on a couple graves. This is Finley down here. It says son of Thomas and Isabella Green. There's nothing on the reverse side. An unmarked grave right here. Of course, we've got these nice wrought iron gates, which that one's seen better days and is frozen open. I was going to close it, but just leave it open. And this seems to be more of the family, same family, the Green family. It's Virginia C., daughter of Thomas and Isabella Green, born February 27th, 1842, died December 16th, 1884. It says, "No night of sorrow, none of pain, but perfect peace and rest. Redeemed and saved, she sweetly sleeps upon her Savior's breast." This is Margaret. Let me get my flashlight back on. This is Margaret E. Green, born February 22nd, 1838, and died November 25th, 1906. Said none knew her but to love her. None named her but to praise. We'll look at these other two since we're in here. It's Thomas Green, born November 17th, 1800. Died April 7th, 1864. It says at the bottom, an honest, upright, candid, worthy man. And here's Isabella Green, born April 23rd, 1806. Died September 10th, 1867. Now we're going to start to wander out there and look at some more of those.
That actually says 1876, not 1867.
Yeah, Brian's catching me. What I do a lot, mix up numbers sometimes if I'm reading them a little fast. while looking around. Looks like the church has an old outhouse over there. We're not going to look at that today. We'll take quick looks at these. That's obviously a very new headstone. Right there is 2015 and 2016 burials right there. We'll just look at the dates on these for now. It's 1893, died 1917. 1852, died 1928. It's another newer one from 72. And this appears to be another Confederate stone here. It's a John T. Pike, Company I, 46th Georgia Infantry, Confederate States of America. It's T.S. Alexander, born October 24th, 1846, died May 12th, 1900. A precious one from us is gone, a voice we love distilled, a place is vacant in our home that never can be filled.
That's 1909.
What did I say?
1900.
Okay, it's 1909.
This is fun. Fucking good.
Here's another rock wall that houses an unmarked grave. And this is some of the more interesting graves I really wanted to take a look at out here. And there's another unmarked grave, probably of a child, from the size of it. I'll take a look at these. All right, here we have W.J. Baker, born February 27th, 1865, and died September 12th, 1890. And what's kind of interesting about this headstone is the inscription at the bottom, which I don't know what means. I'll read it to you. By the Home Guards Temperance Society. So I don't know what the Home Guards Temperance Society is. So if you know, let me know in the comments. All right, so these are the graves I really wanted to focus on out here. And Cody actually said earlier when I first walked out here, he wondered how many were out there in the woods and unmarked. And we'll try to answer that too by taking a look. But before we get started with the marked ones in this older corner of the cemetery, we'll take a look at these unmarked ones here and over there and there. And there's a marked one right there, of course. And I'm sure there's many unmarked ones out there. I'll show you why in a moment. This is Miles Wesley Beach, born November 21st, 1828, died April 21st, 1900. It says, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord." Right over here in another wrought iron fence area, we have in memory of Thomas G. Beach, born July 29th, 1797, died in the faith June 24th, 1884. And over here in memory of Sarah W. Beach, born October 1st, 1802, died in Triumph May 7th, 1889. And it appears to be just two graves in here, but the whole floor's concreted in, I guess, to keep plants from growing in here. And over here we'll kind of start to take a quick look at this. There's another rock wall housing unmarked graves. And these are probably pretty early graves here, because the other rock walls that we've seen in different episodes of Sidestep Adventures were all 1850s, 1860s, and earlier. So these are probably some of the earliest out here in this cemetery. Let's get out of this wrought iron gate and we'll have a look. All right, I mentioned earlier about unmarked graves out here, so we'll go ahead and start taking a look at those. There's one there. There's another one right there, right where Brian's shadow just crossed. Now, of course, these rock walls are unmarked. There's a little piece of glass laying on top of it.
Huh. If there was any markings of long scissors.
And there's another rock wall with some unmarked graves in there. You can actually see the field stones marking the graves there and there and there and there. And these are rock tombs here. They're actually marked. So we'll get some date, some idea of the age of the others from these most likely. This is Jesse Garland, son of William and Nancy Hall. Born November 26th, 1841, died July 13th. Okay, I was wrong on that. Is born November 20. I might have to get Brian over here to read this. Born November 26th, 18. Looks like 1811 maybe, and died July 13th, 1815. That's pretty interesting. Those are very old then. A lot older than I was actually thinking. And I wonder if I may be reading those dates wrong, because they actually seem a little too old for this area. Maybe this one will clear it up a little bit. This is Elizan. I can't read the last name. Can you make that out, Brian?
It looks like Elizan.
So Elizan, but I can't make out Penina. Daughter of William and Nancy Hall, born March 28th, 1810, died June 19th, 1811. So that's interesting. These are actually some of the oldest graves that I've seen out here in the county.
Yeah, flashlight again.
And these are before the county was actually made into a county, which happened in the late 1820s, 1830s. So that's really interesting that these are so old. So this could have been some kind of very, very, very early settlement or burial here that could predate the church.
Yeah, they look like they've been here a long time. It's interesting.
They definitely look like they've been here a long time.
Yeah. But those look like full-size graves, but that said born 1810 and died.
Oh, they're children's graves for sure. But the age is interesting. They could have just, made a big tomb for the children.
Right.
Those early dates really, really intrigue me. I'll just really fascinated about that because that's so early for this area. I've never found any graves that are that old in this area. Here's another unmarked grave. It's just a square of field stones. And over here is another rock tomb. With no markings on it. And before we look at these other marked graves, we'll kind of take a look out here again, because I saw one earlier that I wanted to show you guys. And Brian's kind of actually headed in the direction of it. There's lots of field stones out here on the ground. Like that one looks like it's marking a grave. There's others that are just laying that could have fallen off of that rock wall or any of these rock walls. But here out in the woods and seemingly alone is a large indention in the ground. If you can make that out right there, so that's a grave, and it's not marked, and it makes me wonder, like we discussed, how many more are out here. I actually see another indention right here that's grave shaped, so that's probably one right there. And here's another clear one right here as well. So that's pretty interesting. Actually, I see more. Actually, there's quite a few grave-sized indentions out here. See, there's a field stone. That's definitely marking a grave right there. There's another one here. There's another one there and there. There's one right there. And here's more. Oh, this is actually quite large out here with unmarked graves. That's one, and that's one. There's another one there. There's one. It's fieldstone marked. So this is pretty interesting out here. These could be, this could be actually a slave burial area in this cemetery. It could also just be unmarked settlers. In this case, I really don't know the answer, whether it would be slave burials or just early settlers that were buried in unmarked graves. I don't know much history of this cemetery. Like I said, it's one that I've passed by quite a bit, and digging up some details may be the answer to that. This appears to be the end. I want to look at this wall right here. I guess this is just an area of where leaf litter and dirt's been piled up. This looks like a road down there, an old road. And looks like there's another old road right here. She'll kind of walk that. You can see it goes down to where the highway is, and then it follows up towards the cemetery. So we'll walk along that real quick and take a look. Here's another grave. This is probably a child buried unmarked right here. It's a very small indention with two field stones.
There's a grave right there and right there.
Yeah, they're all over in these woods out here.
And who knows who they were.
All right, guys, so I think we're going to wrap up this video. I'm going to try to do some more digging, and if I can find out some more information about this cemetery, and maybe specifically all these unmarked graves out here, we'll come back out here and do a more in-depth video of some more of the graves. And like I said, maybe have some more history. I'll have to get in touch with my sources of this area, see if they know anything. But this has been actually super cool and a little bit more exciting of a cemetery than I thought it was going to be, especially with those very, very early graves that, like I said, are some of the earliest that I've seen out in this county. And are kind of perplexing, because back then in the 1810, 1811 that these two are marked, this was all still Native American land, and it wasn't widely settled. And most of the settling out here started in the 1820s and 1830s, and of course grew rapidly from that. But a super interesting cemetery. I'm really glad we stopped today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next adventure.